Hey guys, welcome back to Sorted George Garage with me, Julian. Today we're going to be looking in detail on how to replace the rear shoes and rear wheel cylinders on my 1972 Chrysler New Yorker. The setup we've got here today on this New Yorker is virtually the same on all of the Chrysler stuff going up through the 60s and the 70s. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Banging. Right, back driver's side. Looks like this one hasn't been off because I've just fought to get them wheel nuts off. They were rusted on, and obviously it's going to be rusted on around here. So there is a... It's not moving against the back plate, as it were. You know, the back plate's not moving, but that is, so the brakes aren't holding it. I think it's just the rust around here that's holding it on. So, right, Sorted George. We'll get there, as you do. Got the wire brush ready as well. Oh, mate. Right, back with you in a bit. Haha, we got there. It was this bit. It wanted to hang on and hang on and hang on. I got the old little sort of, where are we? Little pry bar behind the, sort of tucked in here, and I could see the drum wanted to come out all the way around, and it was getting stuck on this bit here. So whoever put this on last didn't use any sort of copperies or anything like that, you know, which is what I'm going to do. Anyway. Brakes look brilliant. I've tucked like a screwdriver down in here just to see like whether or not the shoe is going to come away from the, or the lining is going to come away from the shoe. And I'll tell you what, it's actually strong. It's on there really strong. The shoes are good. Still got meat on them. That's good. Wheel cylinders, I've peeled that one back and it's nice and dry. So that's good. Springs are good. Nothing's broke in here, which is fab. A few cobwebs. Just wants a real good clean. So I should take all this lot apart. I will probably I'll have to think on it, but I'm toying with the idea of replacing the wheel cylinders and the shoes, to be honest with you. Purely because of the age of the shoes, you know what I mean? Like, I want to do the front pads. Yeah, it's just a belt and braces job, really, but I don't think I'm going to need any of the spring kits because they're all right. That's good. And obviously, if I take it all apart, and then I can sort of, I'll be able to lube up the handbrake as well, hopefully. Yeah, get something in there. Although that works fine as well. I've tried it and it's fine. Yeah, Sorted George. Right. Oh yeah, I've got to measure it. Right, I need to measure the width of the shoe. Should be 2.5 inches. So I can order the shoes, order the pads. So at least I know what I want there. Right, Sorted George, back in a bit. Yeah, there you go, 2.5 inch. That's good. So, come on. Yeah, the actual shoe itself. Let me turn around now. Oh, hang on, let me go that way for you. How about that? There you go. 2.5 inch, Sorted George. Thought they were. Right, so it's new shoes, new pads, and new wheel cylinders. Drum. Very good. No scores. Scores on the doors. Very good. So that's all right. Banging mush. Give that a tidy up with spray paint. That'll look nice. Right. To the other side. Here we go. Rear passenger. Same as the other side. Wheel cylinders dry, but I should replace that, belt and braces, just the same as I will replace the shoes. Obviously they're you know, quite old. I know they've not been used, but you know what'll happen, it will start to get used, warm up, you know, get hot, and yeah, they'll fall apart. So I'll just as well replace them and be done with it. The disc, or the drum rather, drum is really nice. There's no scoring, no nothing in that. That's really good, thankfully. Springs are all okay. Yeah, sorted. Right, at least I know what it is that I've got to get. Sorted, George. I'll come back when the parts arrive.
Several months later.
Right, let's make a start on these back brakes. As you do. Sorted, George. Lovely. Oh, you sit out of the way. Right. There she be, in all her glory. Turn the flash on. Yeah, as I said before, there's plenty of meat on the shoes, but I just don't trust the old glue, as it were. You know, like I say, there's plenty of meat on the linings, but you get a bit of heat in there, and the last thing I want is obviously for the linings to come off and start going around with the wheel, so you've got no rear brakes, or worst case, it locks up and you start spinning out of control. So let's take this lot apart. Here we go. Sorted, George. Right, let's make a start on taking these springs off. Unfortunately, I don't have one of them special tools like this, so I've got to do it the old-fashioned way, which is basically either a pair of pliers or a pair of mold grips, and grip that. And oh, this is the fun and game bit now. It really is. It's so much easier getting them back on again. But you got to grip it. Got to make sure you grip it. Wow, there goes my wrist. Okay, let's try another way. Oh, that's just hurt my wrist. Ow. Right, let's approach this from a different angle then. Okay, let's undo this spring. Come on, out you get. Like so, there you go. That then can come up like so. That will loosen off the handbrake. That's that out. That's that free. Let's just take that spring off. Now we can take this spring out. Tell you what, hang on, if I part this and take that wheel out, there you go. Take that adjustment wheel out. They can go together a bit better. That spring can then come out easily enough. There she goes. Lovely. Take you out. There she is. Sorted, George. Now, if I take out the retaining clip things here, obviously both sides. Can you see that better? Yeah, there you go. Right. Put your finger around the back, because you've got like, it's like the top of a nail. You grip this, push in, and it doesn't matter which way you twist, but you twist basically 90 degrees, holding the pin at the back, squeeze, push about 90 degrees, and then she comes off there. Right, I know she's not cleaned up, but you get the idea. There's a slot and a groove, hence why you turn it 90 degrees. And then on, let me push the pin through. There you go. And that's basically what the pin looks like. It's like an arrowhead, basically. Sorted, George. Right. So when these go back together, where did the spring go? There. Right. So you push the pin through from behind, comes through here. You've got a backing plate for the spring, which is just a hole. Then you sit the spring on, like so, into the groove, like that. And then you've got the front facing with the slot on it. That sits on. You make a sandwich like that. And that's how they go on. Salty George. Let's take the other off. Right, there you go. There's your pin. And it just comes through the backing plate, through the shoe, and then you put that lot on the front. Right, Salty George. Right, hopefully now that lot should, if I sort of pull these out, oh there you go, look at that, nice and easy. That saves your wrists, doesn't it? Right, that can basically come out. Oh, no it won't. Right, let me get that out. That spring has been stuck in there. That's all wrong. Okay. Right, if I take that out like that. There you go. Come on. Oh, how to demolish a set of shoes. There you go. Right, that's one off. Spring off. And that was caught in there for some stupid reason. Take this one off. There you go. Jobbed. Right, she's off. With the handbrake, what you got to do is basically just get the end of the cable and bring it through there. So, like so. And that should just twist around and come out. Now, before I take that out, you can see how it's got to go. Okay. When you come to put this back in again, you're going to have to slacken off the park brake adjustment so that you've got enough slack on this cable, because you're not going to get that spring up. It is a nightmare, trust me. Right, that's that lot done, sorted. I just got to take off the wheel cylinder and give that backing plate a nice clean. That's nice and dry in there. Salty George. At least the seals and that lot are okay for the aft shafts. That's good. Nice and dry. Banging mush. Right. Let's take off that wheel cylinder and get cleaning. Salty George. Right, seeing as we're under here, let's just give all this lot a bit of a WD and take out this wheel cylinder. As you do, got to be done. Salty George. Let's just give this a quick. Yep, there she goes. Yep, there she goes. That's good. Right, 3/8. I don't have a proper flare nut spanner at the moment. I've just got a normal opening wrench. 3/8. If you don't like what I'm doing, look away now. I do have a set coming over. I promise you that. And what I'm going to do is try and sort of tighten and loosen as I go. Just because I don't like using these. But, there you go. Now, as you can see, the brake pipe is moving. I don't want the pipe to move. So you've got to sort of give it a tap and hopefully get that penetrating fluid working. Alright, let's give it a go. Nope, not yet. Yep, there she goes. That's free. That's okay. Now, you don't want to just wrench on it because there's still a load of muck in there, so you just want to go nice and gentle on it. There she goes, look. There it is, there you go. Now she'll come off, lovely. Just nice and gentle. Because if you just, as you saw at the beginning, when you wrench on it and back up again, where this moved, all you're going to end up doing is basically twisting this off from this, and you're going to break your brake pipe. That's a mouthful. Break your brake pipe. So just a little bit of slowly catchy monkey, just nice and gentle. Bearing in mind you still have some sort of corrosion up here and muck and whatever else. I should have took a wire brush to it first, to be fair, but we're in now. Bang in. And there. There you go. That's lovely. Slowly work it off. If you get to any kind of any tension, any pressure, just go backwards and forwards. That's all you got to do. Save yourself a lot of aggro. Right, I should carry on doing this. I'll be back with you. Right, there she is, free. That's fine. That's free. Now I can continue taking these out. You want to save the bolts, because when you get new wheel cylinders you don't get the bolts with them. Just try not to mess the heads or the threads up with these bolts. There's one. There you go. And there's two. Save your bolts, like I say. And that now will just pull straight out of there. There you go, like so. Now before you do anything else, what you want to do is cover the end of your brake pipe. Obviously you're going to clean all this lot up. You don't want any muck going down there. I know you're going to bleed the brakes, but you will then be bleeding the muck that got down into the pipe into the new wheel cylinder, and obviously you don't want that. So just put a bit of tape over that just to cover it, stop any muck going in. There you go, just like that. It's only a bit of insulating tape, anything to do, masking tape, whatever, just to cover the hole so that nothing gets down inside. Sorted, George. Right, here we go. Right, just giving the drum a quick clean as you do, ready for a quick coat of primer. And I'm going to give it a quick coat of black, just as it's got something. Sorted, George. Right, here we go. Primed, ready for top coat. And there she is, done, sorted. Just gives it a tidy up for when you put it on. You know, when you take the old wheels off. I'll just do the other side when I take that off as well. Tidies it up, doesn't it? Right, banging. Let's crack on. Right, sorted, George. There you go. There's all the bits cleaned up. Now you can see the slots on one side and obviously the circles on the other side. That's the bit that goes up against the backing plate. Then you got your spring on, and then obviously you got the one with the slot. There's your arrowheads that goes through the slot. Just for your info as well, in case you've never done this before, on this particular car, on the Chrysler, when it comes to like the handbrake, park brake, whatever, you see the way that that is connected, okay? You want the cable side out and this side against the backing plate. It just gives you that extra couple of mil on that. These springs, they're not sided, they're exactly the same shape. As you can see, if I hold that up there, you can see the swoop goes to one side and also the curve at the bottom. It's exactly the same. On some vehicles, yes, they're going to be sided, they're going to be different, but on these they're not, so that doesn't matter. That's your spring for the bottom of the shoes. Sorted, George. And what else we got? This spring, which is part of the handbrake adjustment, park brake adjustment, that is sided. So that's, as you can see, that's coming that way. And then obviously on the passenger side, the spring will start over there and come around the other way. This part is for the, also for the park brake. And seeing as we're doing the left-hand side, there is an L. I don't know if you can see that in the light. Yeah, just about. There's an L for obviously the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, there will be an R, obviously. The actual shoe adjustment, this little section here has got a tiny little washer on it, because that just slots straight in there and turns, and that is it. That doesn't do anything apart from sit in there, so it turns up against the washer. Now, this one, these are sided. As you can see, I'm doing it up, but I'm not. I'm actually undoing it. It's a left-handed thread. So the left-hand side has the left-handed thread. Okay, so just like that. And that will screw in. So that's that lot done. And when you come to do your new wheel cylinders, you're going to need to keep these little arms here, and they just pull out like so. So I've got to go and give these a clean up. They pop out. Jobs. You don't need to keep the nipples because you get a new one on the new wheel cylinder. Banging. Sorted, George. Let's just clean this lot up and crack on. Okay, that's them cleaned up. Sorted, George. You just want to make sure that down in these grooves here, that's nice and clean and free from any sort of debris, sharp or corrosion or whatever else that might damage the rubbers of the new master cylinder. Should be okay, but you just belt and braces, you know what I mean. Sorted, George, new master cylinder, and obviously they just pop in there. So what we're going to do is just give them a bit of a helping hand so that they can sit in place properly. Just put a smidgen of grease on there, same as that one. Smidgen of grease just to give it a helping hand to sit in place. You don't need a lot. And I've got a ton on my finger, but most of that's going back in the pot. There you go. Right. And you want to make sure these go right in as well. So in and in, but you need to make sure that they've seated properly. Nope, see what I mean? Right, that one has. So's that one. There you go. And that's how you put them in. Job. Is he going to come out? No, he's not. That's good. That's just the piston in there. Let's take that out. Let it breathe. There you go. Sorted, George. And that will sit in that way, like that. Banging. Right. Let's put them on. Right. Let's put the wheel cylinder on. Oh no, just a minute ago I called it a master cylinder. Sorry about that. It's not, it's a wheel cylinder. Oh, and they're not sided either. So let's put that in there. Sit that up there. I've put some copperies anti-slip stuff on the bolts so that they don't seize up in future. I can't see what I'm doing here. And to the one. That's on. There you go, that's on. Let's just put the brake pipe on. And that's on there, there you go. And there she is on. Sorted, George. Bang in. Park brake lever, which is this one here that I'm moving, is held onto the shoe via this little sort of horseshoe clip here. So what we need to do is take that off, as you do, somehow. she goes. And it falls out. Right, now that that's come off, I can show you between the actual park brake lever and the shoe, there is like a spring washer. Okay, so basically that sits on there and then goes up underneath like that. And then obviously that horseshoe clip thing goes on there. Sort of, George. Right, let's give this a clean up. Right, that's giving that a quick clean up, as you do, sort of, George. Now, what you have to take off of the same shoe as well, obviously that's sat like that, okay. You have this little sort of tooth thing here. Get me torch on it, be able to see it better. There you go. You got this tooth that you have to take out, and that just knocks out from the other side. Okay, so turn it over that way. Put a bit of WD on there. Hang on, tell you what, let's give that a quick clean. Hang on, that's better. Right, bit of WD on there. Give it a fighting chance, as you do, and you just knock it out. And I'm just using the little square thing that goes through a door handle, basically. That'll do. Let's knock that down. Knock it through. Hopefully, he says. Alright, let's try... where's it gone? Why is it everything goes missing when you want it? It's there and there it is. Right. Let's try hole punch first. This is a flat-ended one. Hasn't got a point on it. So we give that a go. Nearly had my fingers. There she goes. There she goes. Jobbed. That's out. Right. And that's what it is. That's what it looks like. There you go. Sorted, George. Give that a clean up and that'll go through the new shoe. Sorted. Banging. Right, new shoes. Here we go. Now, in case you are not aware, you have more lining on one than what you do on the other. See, that's lined up there. As you come around, you see that there's more lining on this one than what there is on that one. The one with the least amount of lining goes towards the front of the car, and the more lining goes to the back. Okay, jobbed. Okay, when it comes to putting back the park brake, etc., obviously you've got to make sure you get the correct shoe. We punched this what's name out that way, so obviously it's got to go in that way, and it was on the backmost hole of these little ones here. If you can see that in the light, it's got to go in there. I've just put a tad little piece of grease on the pin because it's got to slide through there. Just gives it a helping hand, and obviously I'll wipe it off when I'm done. Where are we? Where's me doofer? There he is. Let's get this sat in first. Right, that's sat in. Let's just get something bigger. I'm just going to use the end of a bolt, and that'll be fine. Right, sorted, George. That's in. You can just see where it comes through the other side. Lovely. And obviously now we've got to put the park brake lever on. And if you look on that side, you can just see the witness mark of that washer I was talking about. Sorted, George. Right, let's get this on. You sit out of the way. Get the washer. And that wants to go up through there. Tell you what I will do is I'm just going to put a smidgen of grease just underneath and on top of that washer. just like so. Just a little bit. Right, rub the rest of it off in the pot. And also, what I've got here, because I'm waiting for some new horseshoe clips to come over, I've got a couple of these little C-clip things. Now, they're a little bit on the thin side. I'm not too keen on that. But they'll do as a temporary measure. It's only to sit it in until my delivery arrives. So, sorted, George. Right, let's slide that in. Let's clamp that into place, because I know it's going to be a pain. That's better. And hopefully that should just clip straight into there. There you go. That'll hold on for now. That ain't going to go nowhere. Sorted, George. Right, let's go and put this back on. Here we go. Before we do that, what we're going to do is just get some copper slip, coppery stuff, just to anti-seize this, make sure it's all right. Remember, this side on the driver's side, left-hand side, is a left-handed thread, so that can go in there. Put it all the way in, and then obviously you can adjust out as you go. Come on, let's have some more of that. Here we go, lovely. Look at that. Nice bit of mess. There you go. Right, that'll probably be all right with that one. This one, don't forget your little washer. Put that on there. Put your little washer on. Slide that in there. Jobbed. There you go. Right, let's just... Yeah, I went the wrong way. Undo to put it in. There you go. Even I get mixed up. How about that? Right, sorted, George. That's in there. Bang in. Lovely. Right. Now, we can go and put all the shoes back on again. Here we go. Lovely. Right, let's put all this lot back together. I've just, these 6 pads here, you've got on the backing plate here. Okay, what it is that the your brake shoe rubs against or rests against the backing plate via these 3 pads. Okay, I mean, they're on both sides anyway, because obviously the shoes are reversible, so it doesn't matter which way, whether it's that way on one side or whether it's the other way. So you've got these 3 pads on either side, like I say, depending on which way you do it. Yeah, just put some a little bit of grease, or I'm just going to use some copperies on this, basically so that the old pads can sort of move about freely and obviously reset themselves back in place easier. So, right, before we start, we need to adjust the handbrake cable. So, as you can see, I've already done that much. Yeah, got a bit more to go yet, because I need to obviously move the spring out of the way, and it's just it's a nightmare unless you just, I mean, there's a bit of slack here already. I mean, this is just the weight of the tools on it. But yeah, you need plenty of slack so that you can move the spring up and hook the cable into that arm. Right, sorted, George. Here we go. Okay, now you've slackened off that cable for the adjustment of the spring, what you got to do, because obviously the arm basically sits in, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but let me go that way, get that out of the way. It wants to sit in like that, so that sits behind. Okay, so it's got to go in and then twist. So what we want to do, just hold that end of the cable, pull the spring up as best as you can, and try and sort of get it in as quick as you can before you lose your strength. There she goes. That's in and around. And there you go, that's in. Just like that. It can be a bit of a pain in the bum if you've never done it before, but that's why you've got to slacken off that adjustment, because you're not going to have the length on the cable for then to compress that spring. If that cable is adjusted all the way up that way, you've already compressed the spring down and you're not going to get it. Bearing in mind, obviously, you're doing it by hand. So that's the best way. Right, now that we've got the little pads sort of greased up with a bit of copper-ease, first things first, the little slots on the wheel cylinder here, these arms, you want to make sure that the slot is vertical, not horizontal. We're going to do this one obviously because it's just hanging in the wind at the moment. You want this section of the shoe to fit around here, and this section of the shoe, this square cutout here, that fits in that slot. So that goes in there, that fits up against there. Right, you want your pin to come through your backing plate and come out through here. There she is. Right, I'm over a bit. There you go. Right. That wants to sit like that. Now, what you want is your round hole one. That sits on that way. Then you want your spring. There's your arrowhead. This one at the moment is pointing sideways. Then you want your slot. So that one, if you put it down on the floor, get yourself some shuckademus and grip it, and then that sits over, hold the pin from behind, squeeze and put him on, and then just twist him so that it sits 90 degrees to the slot. That is on there, and there you go. The pin is sitting 90 degrees to the slot. That shoe basically is now sat in place. Right, same for the other side. Let's just put that one on. Right, same again with this side. The square cutout sits in that slot, and this curved bit obviously sits up on there. Luckily we don't have a handbrake arm or a park brake arm messing us about. Get that into the slot first. There you go. She's in there like so. There you go. Right. Pin from behind. There she comes. There she is. See how easy it is that these things move. They're a pain in bum. Right, again, I've got the arrowhead sat to the side, circle one on first, then the spring sideways. Right, so get your pliers, grip it like that, and sideways, in you go. There she is. And she's sat in there lovely, same as the other one. That's it. Right, they're on there. Now for the spring kit and the park brake stuff. Here we go. Okay, next you've got the park brake mechanism arm. It's like goes between the two shoes. It sits up that way like that. This groove here will sit in this groove of the park brake arm, and then this part here, this groove, will sit in here. Okay, now this spring that's on here, there is like a little tooth on it that wants to go outermost, and it tucks behind the shoe. By the looks of it, when this was done last, whether it was factory or what, I don't know, but this was in front of the shoe, and if you remember, it was getting caught in the actual spring that came across here. So, and that's wrong. So basically that wants to sit in like so, and come on, right, you sit in there like that. You sit up there like that. Spring's gone behind the shoe, and let's get you back up over there. This is where it all becomes fun and games now, because everything is pushing against everything else, as you can see. And you gotta push it up from the, see, he's trapped down the bottom now. There you go, that's it. Right, there you go. So basically when this arm goes that way, because it gets pulled that way from the cable, then it pushes against this arm, which then pushes that shoe like that. Right, sorted, George. Now this is when we want springs to hold everything together. Oh, wish me luck. Here we go. Right, this is where it starts getting a bit on the OMG side. You've got to put that piece on there, and that sits there. Then you've got to put on your part brake spring thing, and as I say, the cable bit wants to fit and stay on the outside like so. That's going to sit there. Now what you want to do is get one of these springs, and that is going to sit on there like so, but you've got to put it through that first, because that tucks around there like that. So yeah, and you've got to make sure that that is on first. So that can just sort of like sit up there out of the way, it doesn't matter, that's fine. Now you've got to tuck this in the shoe and wind it in. You sort of like in and twist. Let's hopefully you can pick that up on camera. So that's going to be in and twist. Adjust, here we go. Right, so, oh hang on, I'll tell you what, let me just show you on the back of this as well. Right, this bit here, as you can see, is proud, and that sits in the hole. So you can put that in, find the hole, there you go. Right, that's in the hole. This now goes in and twists like so. In and twist like so, and that now wants to sit over there. Right, this is the fun bit. Aha. Right, I'm using a pair of mole grips just to nearly. There you go. Right, that's over. That's that one. Try and straighten everything out a bit. That's better. Right, that now is going to sit behind here and sit in its little runner like so. If I can get my fingers out of the way, you can see what I'm doing. Very narrow, but there you go. That's now sat in its little runner. Oh, he's unhooked it. There you go. And then that hook will hook up on this piece here, and obviously that's why you need this facing outwards, so that it just sits correctly, otherwise that cable is going to be twisted. Right, let's get that other spring on and go from there. Sorted, George, here we go. Right, same again, that's got to go in to this hole here and twist. In you go, there you go, she's in. And what you can do as well, I don't have the proper tool, but you can do it this way, believe it or not. There you go, just like that. That's not bad, first go. Normally it takes you about 8 goes. Sorted, George. I'm impressed with that first go. That don't normally happen with me, trust me. Right, now let's get down and do the park brake section. Here we go. Right, now we move on to the park brake springs and the lower shoe spring. Right, what you want is this one now, this little one, and that slides into that hole there and comes across to this one here. And as you can see, it goes nice and easy. This adjuster here, you want the threaded part to go towards the front of the car. Okay, so that can now sit in there and in there, like so. Honestly, it gets easier now. You want this spring, okay, this one. You want to put the one with the curved edge comes outermost, and that will just sit on that tooth that we had to change over. Then you get your park brake cable. Make sure that it's hooked behind its groove. That will sit in like so. Slide onto there, around and up, and then this spring section here, hang on, screwdriver comes around and get it from behind. There you go, and that just goes up in there like so, and that is it. That is now in. So now all you do is twist this. It's clicking on this part here, so basically it will adjust out, but then it won't come back down again. It'll only twist one way, and that's how they self-adjust. Just like that. Sorted, George. Banging. And that basically is it. Job done. That's tucked behind there nicely, as it should, as you can see. Sorted, George. Springs are on, that's in place. Yep, that's good. Everything is sat in where it should be. Lovely. That tab on that spring is tucked up behind so that it doesn't get caught in this spring. There you go, and that is it. That's how easy it is to do rear shoes on a Mopar. Well, on most cars, to be honest with you. So, right, what I should do now is just adjust, as you saw me twist that wheel. I should adjust that up. I should put the drum on, I'll show you. But you put the drum on just so that you got a little bit of drag, only just. And then that's it. Right, let's crack on with that. Start with George, here we go. And here we go. Nice, freshly painted drum. Goes on. You see how easy that is to slide on. What you want to do, as I said, is just wind them out. Try that. Make sure it's centralised. Right, now I can't get that off, I've gone too far. So you just pull this tab, okay, and just wind it back. Just a tad. Give it another go. A little bit too easy. Try that. A little bit too much. That will probably be it. There you go. That's lovely. And that is it. Jobbed. And that is basically how you do brake shoes. Sort with George. Right, let's get the wheel back on and go and do the other side. jobbed. All I've got to do now is bleed it all. I'm not going to bleed all the system until I put the new master cylinder on, and obviously the front shoes. But yeah, right, at least that's the back brakes done. Sort with George, here we go. Right, job, that's the drum on. And just a quick tip from the Hong Kong Book of Kung Fu, as you do, just put some anti-seize, copperies, whatever you want to call it, around here, where the drum meets the aft shaft bit here. Put some anti-seize around that edge, and also obviously on the studs, just so that when you take the lug nuts off, they ain't going to get stuck either. Was it this side? No, it was that side, wasn't it? It was the other side, it was the driver's side that I just couldn't get off, where it had seized around that edge. Yeah, that was fun and games trying to get that off. So just a bit of anti-seize, bit of copper slip in there. That works wonders. That'll help you out if you ever need to take your drum off again. You ain't going to get stuck. Sort with George, banging. And last but not least, we got in the rear flexi hose from axle to body, as you do. But unfortunately, in typical Mopar fashion, especially with an old girl like this, the rear brake pipe decided to leak. The one front to back, she started to leak around this area here, underneath this coil, just as I was doing it up. But then again, I'm not surprised if you look at the corrosion on it, the pitting. That wasn't going to be long before it was going to let go anyway. So better to happen now. So obviously I've taken it all out because well, basically it needs to be replaced. So, but that'll be on another video. Right guys, thanks ever so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe if you wouldn't mind. It'll help this channel grow. Please go over and check out Swede Machine, my mate Chris, my featured channel. He's got some good stuff going on over there. Until next time on Sort with George Garage, I'll see you again. Banging.